So, I wanted to talk about the Invincible. This is a game that I recently played. However, it's come out a little bit ago. I played it on PC using controller. The only thing I knew about this game is that it was based on the book, which is like from the 60s. It's a Polish science fiction novel, and that was a walking simulator. And after playing all the way through the game, I can confirm it is a walking simulator. But it's a little bit more, I would say, extravagant walking simulator. A lot of the walking simulators I played, you can feel kind of the smaller scope of it, but some of them take you to all kinds of interesting places and things to see. There's some that are a little bit more sandboxy that I've played as well, such as like Everybody's Gone Rapture. But this one definitely was the biggest in scope, at least for me. It was a long game. It was like a 10 to 12 hour game, which for a walking simulator is pretty long. I would say I got it through it in about 7 or 8 hours or so. And as you're playing through the game, there are moments where you can choose alternate paths to take, but usually you end up in the same place. However, you're on a planet, and when you're on a planet, you get to go through different sections of this planet. A lot of the time, you'll go through an area, and then a cutscene or something will happen that'll take you to the next area. But then other times, you get to these sandbox moments that are pretty big in size, to the point where you need to take a vehicle to get around. And even as you go further into the game, you find yourself revisiting these areas or driving back through from a different path from before, or you're taking a different path that was there before you couldn't get through as the story continues. So it felt like a very big scope game, even though it was a walking simulator. The main character you play has a little bit of amnesia. She just kind of shows up on this planet. It shows you a pre-cutscene explaining, oh, there's these scientists that are gonna go visit this planet, and then jumps forward in time where one of these scientists who was supposed to stay behind ends up on the planet, and you're like, wait a minute, was I supposed to be back up on the ship? Why am I here? I don't remember. And the person you're communicating with doesn't really know either. So the whole game, the main character is talking to this other character that you have met previously at the beginning cutscene. And they're kind of helping you out, guiding you through. You have philosophical discussions about what's happening on the planet and what the company wants them to achieve. So a lot of it was voiceover based, and that's kind of what sells the story. Because the one thing I would say that's, it's hard to say a negative per se, but just something you gotta know going into it is that this planet is mostly desert. There are certain changes in environments here and there, but pretty much all you're seeing is desert. There's no grassland fields anywhere. You see some water, but that's it. It's just variations of desert, rocks. You know, it kind of feels like you're going through Arizona or something is what it feels like. And that's the whole environment. And to just kind of be around that for so long does tend to get a little bit bland and stale, so it really is dependent on the voiceover and the dialogue and the things you see in the environment to tell the story. And I think the game did a decent job of that. The game was kind of set up into these subsections, so after certain points, it was easy for me to kind of go, oh, I can stop here and then come back on this scene. The game auto-saves pretty often enough, and I never really died per se. I think there was one time where maybe I died as a character or something because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. But there's not necessarily too many quick time events or anything like that. You can just freely go and experience the journey that this character is experiencing. And I played it with controller on PC and it worked really well. Again, I'm glad I got this new PC because I don't think my old PC could have handled it. It ran pretty well for me. You have the ability to even run most of the time, which I liked. So if I wasn't in the vehicle, I could run through. It's just sometimes it gets a little disorienting with the camera when you do that, so that's something to keep note. But yeah, there is a little bit of action here and there where a character may jump or something causes a character to kind of have to run away. that sort of thing. But it's best going into this not knowing anything. And by the time I got to the end of the game, I'd be really curious to see what other options there were as far as how it ended, because there are dialogue options in the game, and those can change how the story goes, and they pop up frequently enough. And I'd be curious to see how the ending would be different, but I'm also very curious now to actually read the book. I want to know how accurate this book is to this game. It's one of the few times I can recall just playing a game based on a book that's never been really fully turned into a movie or show. Maybe at some point back in the day it has, but I don't recall anything of recent note of it being adapted into media of some sort. So it was kind of a nice, fresh take on playing an IP of sorts that I've never experienced before. So to wrap it up, I definitely recommend checking it out. If you're not into walking sims, unfortunately this game is not going to be for you. But if you like walking simulators, if you want something that's of a bigger scope, if you like sci-fi even, it's worth checking out, I think, for sure. I feel like this one's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. I feel like I've heard about it, but not enough people really talk about it, at least in any gaming media that I watch and consume. So I definitely want to let you know that this game is out there, and don't sleep on it. I've seen it on sale here and there. Check it out, get it, and let me know how you went through this experience and see if you enjoyed it.